And we have so many of them because of climate, because of the weather. So all of these things, it's a
Josh
compounding
is not billing
kind of
anymore.
thing.
Is there someone
He
update?
sends some every few days.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Sorry. We can stand for the pledge. Councilwoman Van Benscoe would like to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful late spring day. We got kind of a busy agenda. We'll let Town Clerk Moody start us off.
Supervisor Parity,
Here.
Councilwoman Foot. Here. Councilman Hunt,
Here,
Councilman Davenport is absent. Councilwoman Van Scoten.
Here.
Right.
We'll go to vouchers.
Sure, so there are no amendments from the May 20th meeting. So for tonight's vouchers, we have vouchers for the general fund. We have vouchers number 290 through 315 for a total payment of $84,598.68. For the highway fund, we have vouchers 153 through 164 for a total payment of $17,357.53. For the High Falls Water District, we have vouchers number 62 through 64 for a total payment of $3,706.04. For the RMC, we have vouchers number 97 through 99 for a total payment of $6,698.40. I could have a motion for discussion.
So moved.
second.
Thank you.
Great. Any questions?
So just in case anybody looks at this, Compan is the playground equipment.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Okay, 64,000.
That's the first half. We have to pay, that was for the playground equipment we just purchased or ordered. It's not going to come till we think August.
Yep.
We were hoping July, but it looks like August now. But we're on the calendar. It's a company from Texas, and they'll send their employees up and put it together, the ground so. And then yesterday and tomorrow, the trees are being removed, some of them from the town park, where we're going to put the new bathrooms. There were some trees growing close. And over the pavilion, there were a couple of huge trees that were grown over the pavilion. So we just figured camp's starting soon with the kids. Let's get it cleaned up. And
Is this also preparing for where the?
Yeah.
Okay,
well, it's not site work, but it's trimming the trees that
you're not grading to
No.
anything. Okay.
Dana Blackman.
So Dana is an attorney for our court. So we pay the public defender.
Okay.
And Diane Silverberg, what does she do?
So the Board of Assessment Review, it's our only town committees that get paid. So our Board of Assessment Review members, they, during assessment, if someone challenges your assessment and the person meets with our assessor, if they're not happy with the meeting with the assessor, they can go to the Board of Assessment Review. We have 5 members, and they're kind of like a jury. They listen to the person, comps and different stuff, and then they can actually override the our town assessor. So
And there's 5 of
there's
So it's like
5.
50
all 5 of them.
So Diane is one of the 5.
Yeah,
All
John-
5 get,
$50 of-
they get $50 a meeting.
Yeah, John Cerrone, Stephen Gilroy, Diane Silverberg, Mary Zaria, and Stacy Smith. Those are all the members.
So they get 5. And if I don't think they're scheduled for another meeting.
No,
But
they
some
just
years they'll have
finished.
2 or 3, and then they'll get $50.
I think they just finished the grieving process for
Yeah.
at least Marbletown. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah. So any other questions on any vouchers? If you have any more down the road, just let me know. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, and I'm going to pass this down. Thank you.
You want this in the back too.
Okay, the minutes, can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? No. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay,
Can I ask you one quick question about the abstract? I saw one, timely signs,
timely signs, is that,
23.
so that's for our rail trail.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So we got new signage for the trails. So I didn't copy the vouchers. This is on the internet, but if anybody wants to see them, get them out. They're on the website. Financials. Yeah, timely signs we got. So
Yeah, I heard that the new design is there and
came out really
finally
Jill
coming
and
out.
Jess and Barbara Bash and that whole group, Marion did a nice job.
Yeah, Marion, really appreciate her help.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so now we're going to go to public comment. For anybody new, the beginning of the meeting, we have public comment. You can comment on any of the 6 resolutions that we're going to vote on. At the end of the meeting, we'll have another public comment, and if you want to speak about anything in town, that's when we can kind of have that discussion. So does anybody want to speak on any of the 6 resolutions we're going to vote on tonight? Okay, and everybody will have another opportunity. Now we're going to go to Resolution 55, is an appointment to the planning board. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is to appoint Zachary Gumpel as an alternate to the planning board. And Marianne and I met with them and had a great conversation, and we appreciate you being interested in,
And you're going to fit in great on the planning board.
so. Anything else? Any?
The full
Good luck.
position. Full position.
So this is actually an alternate
An
position. Yep, and then, so the planning board has got 7 members, and Marbletown's law allows for 2 alternates. Right now, we have 1 alternate, and with the possible transition of Max running for town board, it would leave us with no alternates in a few months. So it's good to have Zach, and then as people, there's 7-year terms, and people come on and off quite often, so generally put the alternates into the next vacant positions. That's how it works, so.
Is it appropriate to ask a question?
I don't know if you want to put them on the spot, but you
Or
can.
would you just be nervous? I don't know, what would you hope to contribute to this planning board? It's such an important board, but
That's exactly why I would like to be a part. I've been operating a construction company in this area since 2019. I've done a lot of work, developing land, building homes, everything from entitlement design. So I had to interact with a lot of different towns, and just got married in December. And
Congratulations.
we've decided that we want to stay here, and I want to be kind of a part of the community. So do anything that I can to be offering civic service and be on board in the community.
great, good expertise.
He also just went through the process.
Yes.
So he has at least experience being on the other side of the table,
Ah,
at least while I'm here.
so you have a contractor's license or you're,
No.
no, okay.
Well, there's no licensing for contractors. We don't have a licensing, just electricians in Ulster County,
Electricians and plumbers.
plumbing in Kingston, right?
Thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Zachary or Zach? You
Zach.
you go by Zach, okay. So what we'll do is, you'll have to sign an oath of office. Laura will probably bring that to the next meeting, right?
Yeah, so my office will work with Laura. We'll
Yeah,
send
she'll bring it
around.
to your next meeting. You've got 30 days to sign it. And then we'll let Sean and Laura know, and Max, that I spoke to Max. He knows we were going to talk about it. So, great. Thank you.
Was the outcome good at the planning board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Resolution 56 is entering into a lease with the Rondell Valley Food Pantry for Old Town Hall. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second,
This is a renewal lease. It's like probably the 6th year we're renewing it. And the food pantry is interested in staying. It'll have to go through their board of directors. And I don't anticipate any changes. Any questions?
was there any upgrades that were required now in that building? No.
We just actually, maybe, I don't know, a week or 2 ago, well, there was no water there on a Friday morning. So the well pump went and the wires were frayed. So AAA Pump, which is right up the road here, called them up. They're amazing. They came out and fixed it that day, so. And
I saw that.
the invoice is in.
200,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're paying a voucher tonight for them, so. They're great. And they've done work in this building. They've helped us out when we've had water issues and pump problems, so.
So if we, but if they're signing a 6-year lease with us.
No, it's a 1-year lease.
A 1 year.
It's like a 6 1-year renewal.
6 1 year, okay.
Yeah.
So that way, if we wanted to sell that building, we wouldn't be locked into.
No.
Okay.
No,
Not
it's
saying
just,
We're gonna sell it, I'm just saying.
don't talk about selling buildings, Daisy. Yeah, listen, they're great partners. We all know how, what they do to the community to help in the Rondell Valley School District, and they're facing challenges now with everything going on in government, and it's great that we can support them the best we can, so.
It would be nice if they would come sometime and tell us how many people they serve, and
We could ask them to come.
that would,
Yep, I'll ask
that
Susan.
would be interesting.
Yeah, I think bring community awareness. I know some
Yeah.
people didn't even know we had a food pantry.
Exactly. And I've heard, because of immigration issues, that those kind of services are really impacted. Either people are not showing up because they're afraid,
Oh,
or they're showing up in more and more. But
Yeah, I'll reach out to Susan and ask her.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Just so everybody knows, that lease is for $1,150 a month. It's $1,150, and it has stayed the same. Resolution 57 is the sale of unneeded town property on Duck Pond Road. Can I get a motion?
second,
Again, this is, we had the bid opening 2 Fridays ago, and we had about 5 bids on each property, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think that the other, I can't remember which had more. So, yeah.
And on this one, and again, with the next property, it was an adjoining property owner that were the high bidders. So this one, the final was $1 more than the next bid.
Yeah.
So they got it by $1.
the price is right.
Yep.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was fun opening them, wasn't it,
You know
Heather?
what? That was fun. It was nice because a couple of the people came.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so this is, because it's subject to a permissive referendum, we have to wait 30 days before we can close. But this starts the clock rolling.
So why would something like this be subject to permissive?
Anytime the town sells property,
Oh, right.
Uh,
So building, whatever. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
subject to a permissive referendum.
Got it.
Unless you're selling it to another government entity. I don't think it is that. So if we sold it to the county, or we sold it to the town of Olive, then
Right.
it probably wouldn't be subject. But if you're selling it to the private sector, it's subject. Any questions on this?
And these funds will just go into the general fund?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna offset the cost of the playground equipment. It's almost like dollar for dollar the same, the 2 properties, they almost pay for the playground equipment. So any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution 58, the sale of Barberry Road property. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second,
Again, this was the unneeded property that was donated to us, and the bid's $85,000, which we're really happy about.
And that was definitely the highest.
Highest
like
bid.
40,000.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're excited to move forward and close and own the property, so. Any questions on that?
And this property is any of it like wetland? Is it forest? Is it like?
It's mostly forest,
Mostly
but
forest.
it abuts the fields, the Davenport field, and there may be a stream between it, so I don't know if they
And they're
could.
both really close to each other, both of those lots.
Yeah, the duck pond and the Barberry, as a crow flies, are not far apart.
Yeah.
They're pretty close. Go figure, we got them both donated to us,
Yes.
Nice.
so. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for all of you who had to manage these bids and.
Yeah, thanks.
And Heather did a lot.
Thank you, honestly. I mean, we did another big thing one time, but nothing like this, nothing like people like really excited.
Dropping them off, calling them
Right.
questions.
And I know there was several steps, the advertising and all that, so.
We had to advertise for 10
Yeah.
straight days. Yeah.
And you know
It's
what?
interesting.
I think if we listed it with the, an MLS with a real estate agent, I'm not so sure we would have gotten any more money. I mean, these bids, one is a 0.6 acre piece of property. It's shaped like a triangle, and, it was really important for the neighbors to keep it so that nobody built on it. And the 8.5 acre property was a hill off of a private road that went right behind the neighbor's house and then down a fairly steep hill. So it would have really been tricky to get, to get a driveway down there. You could get one, but it would be a little bit of work. And a neighbor bought it. And remember Jean, she said she bought it because they didn't want anybody interrupting their neighbor, and it
Yeah.
abuts their property. So
Yeah.
they're really,
They're putting in, like, a
really
driveway or
sweet.
something,
Yeah, they didn't want anybody to go behind the neighbor's house. That's how, just really, really nice, kind people. And I'm glad that they both got it, so. Any other questions? How do we vote on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Resolution 59 is fireworks at Mohonk. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
This is for 2 dates, and thank you, Heather. This is Heather's resolution. This is for the 4th of July and July 23rd. Just so everybody knows, in New York State, if you want to have a private fireworks show, the local municipality has to approve it. So we do this.
Yeah, so they have to provide a permit and all their insurance, the Legion fireworks, their insurance, I have all that.
Yeah, and they notify the local fire
Yeah,
department.
and I will, let High Falls know, and then code enforcement officer, they all get the information.
Is there an error on this because it says July 23rd?
They do
With
the
the
night
rain?
before,
No, they do a rain date.
but it's the night before.
Right, I know.
It's,
That's
yeah,
unusual,
yeah, they
isn't
do
it?
it.
Yeah.
That's how it was last year too.
Yeah, it must be because the private party that's there is there for like,
Friday and Saturday.
Uh,
So they do the fireworks Saturday, but
it's a
if it's,
private party who, it's a private.
Oh, okay.
function who's doing it, yeah.
so. Any questions on that?
Not for this most controversial, resolution.
Yeah. All right, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 60. It's hard to believe we're up to 60 already and we're only in June. Is carpet for the Rondout Municipal Center for this room, M1.
Yay.
So can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
The carpet, you can see the seam is getting a little bit ratty and we're slowly, it's been about 11 years it's been here. So we're slowly going to start to upgrade and repair some of the carpeting in the building. So we figured we'd start in this room. We went out and got some quotes. We did not go with the lowest quote. And the reason being is because we bought the most durable carpeting. So the one quote that's lower is for carpeting that's not as durable. They could not match the 10-year guarantee that the other carpeting gave us. So, and this is split between Marbletown and Rosendale. So we would be responsible for 50% of that cost.
So we're going with the carpet
Yeah.
store of Rosendale, right?
Yes.
77,050.
And the first two were just two different kinds of carpets.
We did a heavy duty and then a light one. And after talking, we figured we should just do the heavy duty. There's so much traffic in this building and this room. It's used most days. There's groups in here, people in here. The ARC uses it. We use it.
The police use it a lot.
What?
The police.
The police are here all the time, so it's being used a lot. So we just figured, let's get the better stuff and we'll be done with it.
My opinion, but they redid the carpet in my office building, and he didn't go with it, and it just, almost immediately, it does not look good, because it picks up every stain, and it It's much better.
And we went with a darker color,
Right, it's much better than the wood.
with a little pattern to try to hide when Daisy spills her drink.
Yeah, well, I do my Tai Chi in here sometimes.
We can move the chairs.
Not class, I practice in here with somebody.
So any questions on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Rosendale will be voting on this tomorrow. All right, I'll give you other business. Quick, the beach survey is starting tomorrow. So we're excited about that. And we've identified, secured 6 locations to test the lower Sopus because we haven't been able to open our town park because of contaminated water. So thanks to Stuart and some others, we got a grant, $50,000 grant, which is going to allow us to survey the lower Sopus. The 6 sites we're testing are, one is when it comes out of the reservoir, which is technically the town of Olive. And then the other 4 other spots are below tributaries that are coming into the creek. So we can, and then the last spot is obviously Town Park, or a little bit below Town Park. So, we've had I reached out to some properties along the creek, and the people have been fabulous to us. So just want to say thanks. The collectors are going to go out tomorrow. We're working with Riverkeeper and Ulster County Soil and Water. And people, there's some nice properties along the creek, and we wanted to really get in, like I said, the specific properties that were where the tributaries were, and the property owners were really gracious. So the one guy is going to pick up the collectors tomorrow in his cart and drive them down to the creek because it's quite a bit of property, and they were all excited.
Really?
Yeah, everybody. I was worried I was
All in
just going to.
favor of it, Yeah.
I was worried we were going to get no's, don't come on my property, or you're going to find out that it's my septic that's leaking in here, or, on my farm, but people have been just absolutely fabulous. They're like, just come on the property and do whatever you got to do.
Will Stuart go with them?
I think so, but I'm not sure. I mean, we've all kind of been coordinating. I'm not going to go. Sorry. We don't, but, even though, who doesn't want to take a ride down to the lower Sopus, and it's beautiful down there, and going through some of the properties, but but we're lucky. So I want to thank everybody that's been cooperative. And after there's going to be 3 or 4 tests, and we may need new locations after the first round because we may find and start to pinpoint things after 1 or 2 rounds, and then need to move it around. So, if any property owners along the lower Sopus are listening, we may be reaching out to you in the next few months. So we're hoping this will be done by like August, September, and then we'll get a report. So, but I'll keep everybody up to speed. Yeah. And then, the highway department is starting paving. They're going to start soon. And, Lou called today. At times, we're going to close roads. And so keep an eye on our Facebook page, our website. We send email alerts. If you're on our website, you can get an email, sign up for an email blast. Anytime something important gets posted, you'll get an email sent right to you. I don't know if anybody saw, but there was a highway worker killed just in the last few days. Somebody crushed him. Somebody was flagging. Person came through the work zone, and unfortunately, random person crushed them. So, safety's first. Give these guys a break and go slow. And so there's going to be times on some of these narrow roads, instead of just trying to squeeze cars by, we're just going to shut the road.
Were they with the county or?
No, I think it was near Binghamton. It wasn't a local one, but it was it was a highway department. I don't know if it was a county or a town worker, but it wasn't a flagger either. So
The 209 is a state road, right?
state road. Yeah, we won't do anything there.
It's awful.
Oh, it's a mess. So, so we'll, Michelle does a good job posting which roads are going to be on. If it's rainy day and they can't do the paving, we will notify everybody if we can. So there. And then what else is going on, Heather?
Well, we have our second round of training for the new town clocks tomorrow. Rich and I doing the manager. So we started last week. They got them all hung up and people are using them.
Yeah. Yep, we have a time clock. We used to do just a paper system, and we just felt it was time to go to time clocks. People aren't filling out pieces of paper. Everything's automated now, and it's better. Nobody complained. I think everybody's pretty happy.
We're on day 2.
We're on day 2 today, and Heather and I don't have to punch in, and neither do you guys. Elected officials don't have to punch in and out.
And so tomorrow the lady comes to sit
Yep.
with us.
Right here.
Yep, to have, and then go and work. It's a software, like we can, it's on our computer, we can download it on our phone.
So we're not going to turn on the remote services yet.
Right.
We want people to get in the habit of using
Right here.
the building. So we've got one at the transfer station, one here, one at the highway garage, and one will be at Town Park because our summer counselors.
Yeah.
We've got like a dozen summer counselors so they can punch in and out down there. So, yeah, all good.
Mhm.
Other than that, gosh, just always busy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
it's
just,
been pretty busy.
you what?
I said it's been pretty busy.
Yeah. So, and then hopefully next week, in 2 weeks, I didn't get to sit down with Dave Cobb. Maybe we can put that on our agenda with the fire department, Lamontville, and get something.
Yeah, when do we need to give an answer?
Well, if we write a resolution and we approve it, but I think, I mean, I think the board is amenable to it, but we have to sit down and write something up and see about usage. Is that Dana? If that's our, public defender.
Sorry, he walked so fast, like he went.
He's just not Marbletown Court tonight, though. Does he do Rosendale?
He's not here representing
Oh,
somebody.
that's true, that's true.
I guess the only-
Rosendale Court's tonight. We were last night.
The only thing I was thinking is that, obviously, they made the case for why they wanted the funds and how they'd use it. What will happen if other fire departments come forward? Just.
It's a good question, Ted.
Well, I'll tell you
what's
the difference.
protocol? Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, and I would like to have this in as part of the agreement, which they offered to let us use their space. And Marbletown can't do that because of the water situation, and Niagara Falls is frankly really not friendly about it because I've approached them. So I'm more inclined to give them the money because, it'll be useful for us. Even after we fix the community center, if there's an overflow or whatever, it's a great space. It's, people.
And it's in an area where there are
Yeah.
storms,
Yeah.
right?
And also it's in an
Yeah,
area
going
that,
through there.
might be more convenient for somebody to have a gathering there than to come into town, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that, Rich, do you think it's okay for us to sort of make sure that they're willing to do that?
Yeah, I
I
think,
mean, we're not going to abuse the,
yeah, and I think we just want to have some kind of a thing saying, for the next 5 or 10 years, you'll be open to allowing community groups there and charging a reasonable price. I mean, I don't expect them to do it for free.
no, I don't either.
And then they're going to be open. So basically, last month, the commissioner from the Lamontville Fire District came and spoke to us and asked if the town would give them $75,000 to finish their bathrooms and kitchen area. They did a pretty significant renovation about 2 years ago with their roof. They fixed their flooring. They had to raise the door for the fire trucks to get in, the big garage door. But they were a little short to finish the bathroom and kitchen area. So when Marbletown Fire District and VLI dissolved, the town took over their funds. So we do have, I mean, it's not a fire district fund. Legally, it's the town money. But I think since they are a taxing district, we are allowed to work with them. We can, if the board agrees to it and their board agrees to it, we can work with them to.
And they have a generator, right? And they could provide shelter.
So this is a
during
new generator
storm.
too.
That's what it is.
This would be a new
Funds
generator
for
too.
us for a generator.
Yeah,
So it's a storm
Yeah.
shelter as well.
that's, I think, really important in that area.
Yeah, and not that this is a reason to do it, but the Hurley Mountain Bridge is slated to be repaired in about 3 years. So I think for 6 months, there's going to be no way anybody that lives in Lamontville is going to have to go up to Hurley, past the Hurley Mountain Inn out to 209 and then come back to Stone Ridge. So there won't be a way you know, that, so the firehouse could, and if there's storms, could provide safety for people with the generator. So I think they would be amenable to opening that up. So although Lou did say to me, there is a possibility now, they're hearing they may build a temporary bridge. So, which means that,
I know there's been a lot of people.
yeah, so I think it's a county project. It's funded by, I don't know if it's funded by the state or the federal government, but the county's going to be replacing the bridge. And originally, they were just going to take the bridge down, it'd be closed for 6 months, and they would build it. Like I said, Lou said they may now build a temporary bridge. So I think we just have to wait and see. It's not for a few more years, so not much info on it.
I just did one in Wittenberg, and I think that only did 2.5 months, but the public outcry and because people are coming all the way down, there is no cell service,
Yeah.
they get all the way down to realize that they can't get into Woodstock from that end.
Oh,
They have to go all
Well,
the
they
way
should be putting something up that says no local
But
traffic.
people- But what's happening is GPS is still bringing people through, so people who don't know the area.
oh, yeah.
So my daughter's looking at.
Oh, well, teach them patience. Everybody needs a little patience.
So, but I'm just meaning, they're getting a lot of, I think that they're getting, Brendan said they were getting a lot of calls and complaints, so it may be that now they're rethinking about closing.
You know what? They're preparing for this. They're designing the new bridge now. If they let it go and this darn thing was critical and had to be closed down, it would be closed for 4 years. So because they're able to do all we should all be happy they're doing the prep work and it's going to be closed down a lot shorter time than if they just let it go and it got to the point that, you know, it was critical. So it's life.
So if they would add that language in the resolution.
So what we'll do, so Tim, you bring up a good point. Why don't we, everybody, I'll send an email out tomorrow to all of us, and I'll just say, what are your thoughts on this? Tracy can throw up a contract based on it. We'll certainly have to let Dave and the commissioners of the Lamontville Fire District know, and they may not want to do it, or they may say yes, and then we can react, we can make our decisions based on how we feel about that. Is that all right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Tracy-
I would just note, the Historic Preservation Commission is having an event on October 4th, an educational event, but they're going to do it at the High Falls Fire Department. And we have to show insurance certification, that kind of thing.
I know.
So,
Instead of doing it here where they don't have to show insurance, but that's fine. We'll do it. We'll call our insurance agent and get one. Some organizations make you jump through bigger hoops than other organizations, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, that's, anything else? Daisy, we met.
We met with the planner,
Yeah, we're having,
I think, and we're starting to come together, come up with some great ideas and bringing them to the board. I think pretty soon.
I think,
He basically
to Larry?
gave us a
well,
rough.
it's not necessarily, well, it's an overlay district. We're looking to create an overlay zoning district, which would allow certain types of housing in districts, not every lot, but larger districts within the hamlet of High Falls and Stone Ridge. So the cottage courts, duplexes, triplexes, different things that are really restrictive right now. So things like that. But he gave us like a little draft, but we'll share it.
But
with
it's got to be
everybody.
fleshed out more. But I'm saying we're getting there and we'll have something for the board soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
And he said he could be available for questions and things like that as well.
Yeah.
But so it's really fascinating. I mean, there's so much out there available material to, what was it, middle housing? I sent you the link.
yeah, I'll send it to the board.
Send it out because it's really, it's a lot of what he's drawing off of, but it's this nonprofit that's started, that's facing the affordable housing issue in the country, and this, what they call this middle housing, which, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And a lot of this is not just about Falera, it's about as we go forward as a town, and because, depending on what happens at Falera, what kind of housing we end up with, then we may want to try to look into another part of the hamlet for a different kind of housing that
Cottage courts or
Yeah, that
different
reaches
things.
for retirees or different
A
needs.
different
So
population.
these are the conversations we're having in terms of how we look at changing our zoning so that it's not just for a narrow part of this population, but, for other people too. So
And Ted is working with a lot of communities,
yeah,
just like us, that
a
are
lot
all
of communities
struggling
that
with
want
housing
this.
and
So there's a lot of precedent that he can draw on.
And then hopefully the Flair property will hopefully close on that, a contract, hopefully in the next month or so, right? I'm hoping. We're just waiting for the final maps to be signed,
Nice.
to be drawn up, delivered and signed. So it's already been approved by the planning board. They just need to sign the maps. So, and then we'll own that, and then we'll have to decide what to do with the bigger parcel. We have up to 3 years to close on that. So we can look at the transfer fund and then Daisy, we also got Stefan and
Oh, right.
Nadine met last week. So at Marbletown Meadows, everybody's familiar with Marbletown Meadows by the Marbletown School. We didn't get a grant last year, but we'd like to do the outside trail, an ADA trail. And we decided it'll be 9 feet wide, which is the same size as River to Ridge, New Paltz did. So if anybody's ever walked that, it would be
that's
basically
nice.
the same. And we're going to get prices to build that ADA trail along the outside and then do the Bluestone Council thing. So
And redo the parking a little bit too.
we do the parking.
Did that grant go in or is it slated to go in?
Yeah, we've got, Rich sent out all the information on it. It's live now. the
It
grant.
just opened
Yeah,
up.
It just opened up.
It
So
never
Dale-
opens up till the state budget gets approved because they don't know what funding there is until the state approves the budget. So now that the budget's approved, all these agencies can now go out
So
to,
Dale's going over, just kind of going through the old grant that was written and submitted last year, and just to see what needs to be updated and improved, because there's a few things that she wants to, and then I'm going to help her once I get my marching orders off.
I went to the Memorial Day service at the cemetery and it was really nice. Very nice. There were a lot of people there and it was very well done and it was a good thing.
good. And then kind of been a little low with the Walden.
Yeah.
Ted and the engineer from Walden that's working with us,
Who's presented here.
who's been here, his dad passed away, so he's kind of been off the grid for a couple of weeks, but I think he's coming back up this week, and we're going to start the construction project soon, go out to bid, and we have to drill 11 wells, and then there's some drainage work that needs to be done, so he's writing up all the bid sheets, and we'll be going out on that soon. They're small jobs, they're just like wells and swales and
Where are we about talking about creating a water district with, just,
Yep. So, I think it's June 11th. There's a meeting, if anybody wants to go with me. It's at DEP. Marianne, if you want to
Yeah,
go.
I'd like to go.
I'll tell you when it is right now. It's June 11th at the DEP with Dennis Larios. We're going to do a water district study. New York City DEP is willing to fund it. And we just have to come up with the scope.
and Dennis is, he can, turn that around for us to
Yeah, I mean, Dennis is the best because Dennis built our water district. He, back in like 2007 or 8, Dennis engineered our water district, engineered all the lines. He,
what's what.
when DEP has a question on the High Falls Water District or the college, they email Dennis and Terry, and it's like a race to see which one gets them the information first. They both have all the information on it, so. So anyway, I'll let you know on that one. So that's in June. So we have to come up another IGA with DEP, which IGA stands for Intergovernmental Agreement. And the estimated cost is $50,000 to $75,000
To do the study.
to do the study. And then, like, part of the study will be right now, because High Falls is a contaminated, it's a Superfund site. we don't really have a backup water supply if the DEP shuts down the aqueduct. So DEP bought us a water truck 4 or 5 years ago. And when they shut it down, it makes 8 trips a day from Rosendale to put water in the High Falls one. So part of this study will see as a feasibility of putting a line between Rosendale's water district and the High Falls water district. So Rosendale could use the DEP's aqueduct for their backup, and we could use Rosendale's water system for our backup. So we obviously would have an unlimited amount with the aqueduct because, millions and millions of gallons a day flow. We'd have to see if Rosendale could handle us as a backup. So,
But it's also a study to see if it's feasible to create a water district in Stone Ridge, right?
well, yeah, it's not necessarily just Stone Ridge. It's in that area B where there's when the city shuts down the aqueduct, there's some wells that have dropped 60, 80, 100 feet, and people's wells have actually gone dry within a day of the aqueduct being shut down. So he's going to study that area. Unfortunately, we don't have much data or any data along 209 during the shutdowns, and I don't know why. I'll take some responsibility for it. USGS was here, the US Geological Survey was here when I started, and I should have asked them to go there, but I didn't. So
Aren't they coming back?
they're coming back. I got an email. There's a new group from Albany that's coming down, and the lady reached out to me, and I just have to talk to her about, monitoring some wells on 209. DEP is going to do another shutdown in the fall. So,
So it'd be 2 sources of data then to inform our district potential.
yeah, and it's like one of those things. They could find out, they need to bring water to, and I'm just pulling this out of making it up, but to Marbletown School. If that's the case, they go right through Stone Ridge. We could just tap off it then. Then it's not an issue. But if they're going up 213 and heading up, to 209 up towards Cherries or something, they're not going to just pay for it in Stone Ridge if the data doesn't show it. But we could maybe at the intersection bring it there. But the water district also has got a limited amount of people that it can service. So there's 200 users in the water district. The college was supposed to use about the equivalent of what they used, but they're using much less. So about 30% of the water district is being used. So we could probably add maybe 300 or 400 more customers, but not, you don't want to go through the tank every day. So, but would the DEP maybe upgrade this facility? That's all what this study is going to talk about. So we'll get more information after the 11th. So it's hard to believe the 11th is like next week.
Yes.
Geez, it's crazy. So yeah, just when you think it's quiet, it's busy, right, Heather?
Exactly.
I mean, it's really nonstop. So, but anyway, that's it. Anything else, Tim?
There is a survey from the Parks, Trails, and Rec that people may have
Okay.
received around the community center, around programming. So get the survey, share it with your friends. It's easy to fill out. And give us your ideas. Give the committee ideas about how you want to see programming changed, either for the community center or for other areas as well, parks, trails, etc.
Get outside and enjoy the outdoors. We got plenty of trails here and places to walk in Marbletown.
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion before I open it up to public comment?
Just for the center, are we unscheduled to meet that grants deadline now?
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah,
make
so Heather and Scott had spoken today about the process for the town to advertise bids and stuff like that. So they were working on it. So we'll have some responsibility for advertising bids too. So Scott, Heather.
Yeah.
So
what's happening.
So I think you're gonna see the heat go out very soon.
Okay.
That portion of it,
Okay.
just so we're in compliance.
When that'll get done,
God bless you.
we'll be able to tell
Oh, yeah.
the grantor.
That I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he may have already gone out.
Well, no, because they were talking,
No.
Heather's
I
gonna
have
have,
to legally advertise it,
when it goes out, so.
and then I have to give like a time period, like I advertise it, and then they have 3 weeks to get me the information.
I was wondering, so it's 3 weeks.
Well, that's what Rich and I were discussing.
Yeah, I think it can be flexible. I mean,
It's not required.
Well, I need to look into make sure that we're meeting the requirement.
and I think like, if it's the heating system, it probably doesn't have to be that long because the bid document may be this thick. If
Right.
it's a full-fledged doing 10 things, and the document's this thick, you don't want to give somebody 2 weeks to review it. They might need a month to review it. So I think, but that's what we'll take. Heather's
I
lead and
started the
Scott's lead.
conversation today, and then Rich and I spoke.
We'll get there though. I think we feel good about it.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna close other business, gonna do public comment. Anybody like to speak? Vivi?
Now, has the book been finished? Has Scott finished his book?
Not that I'm aware of.
And that would, you said it would be the middle of June, so that's next time?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little longer than that. I've spoken to him and he said it'll definitely, he's gonna try to get it done by the end of June, but he said it's turned out to be a lot more complicated than he realized, just a lot more to do. And that, but it will definitely be ready for us to look at it and to go out in the beginning of July. And then it'll probably, by the time they send it out to bid and we make a decision on who we're going with, who gives us the best bid. We're looking at the work commencing in the very beginning of September. So,
September.
That's the goal.
And could I come back to my suggestion that you all ought to have some microphones? It's really hard for us to hear what it's really wonderful to see the interaction that you have with one another, but your voice, you're turning to each other this way. And, usually we can't hear. At least some of our old ears can't.
okay,
So Vivi, I'll look into it.
yeah, we'll definitely talk about
I
it.
don't think it would be all that much for you to supply yourself.
We did.
No, right, it's not the
I
expense.
think it just sounds a little weird.
We had them once, and the problem was anytime like you touched it, it was like it made such a loud bumping noise, or it was staticky. It was just I'm sure this was 5 or 6
There
years
may be
ago.
some now that are much better.
I'll look into it. If we can do it and it's reasonable,
One other thing, let's use that wonderful questionnaire. Why don't you ask the library to send it out to everybody?
Yeah, they can share the link.
They have,
Yeah.
they have.
Great idea.
They have
Yeah.
a good mailing list. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Vivi.
Yeah, that would be good.
Anybody else like to speak?
But if somebody has, for some reason, hasn't gotten it, if you mention to a friend, they can get it off the website.
It's on our website, it's on our,
on the-
we'll make sure it's on the website. It only went live today, right, or yesterday?
The survey.
Right, it's only live today.
Like 2:00 this
Yeah,
afternoon.
it's definitely on Facebook. We'll check to see if it's on the. I don't know if anybody's been to our website since we got the new one. So if we have like a really important notice that we'd like the community to see, Michelle puts it there. And when you go to the page, it shows up there and you have to read it. You can't ignore it. You have to click OK to shut it to get to the website. So you actually have to read the link. It's really good. I like it.
I do too.
Will
So-
there be a way to figure out which road closings are happening that would come up on your phone? So that,
On the phone,
like
it's a-
alert?
it's a good question. We get solicitations from vendors that do that for municipalities. It's not cheap. And we're small. I mean, I think cities do it and large municipalities. Yeah, did you see, right? Isn't that cool?
You have
He
to-
was saying you can't get
You can't get to the
surveying. It's
website.
right here. You can't get past it unless you do the survey.
And you have to hit OK. So, yeah, last week there was another feature on there and it was great. I'm like, what's this? And I'm like, so I read it and I'm like,
That's great.
yeah. So, but anyway, I can, everyone I've looked at has been generally,
It was something like emergency, information for people, you know, if there's a big storm,
yeah,
that would go out on something like that.
I totally get it. And like I said, we get solicitations, I'll look at it again. I mean, I don't quite remember. I think it was a couple $1,000s a month.
Hurley has some sort of a,
We don't have police.
That's the Rosendale Police.
That's Rosendale Police.
They're not our,
Yeah.
they're not Marble Town.
Hurley has some sort of a system where if you just, you join, then they'll send you just a shot out that,
Is it the county or
I don't know,
Hurley?
Hurley, basically, if you put in your email address, if you register.
Well,
with
we
them-
do the
That's what
same
do, though.
thing, and
We have an email alert.
So, but if a tornado comes through at 2 a.m,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna go on the website and say, hey, there's a tornado coming.
Right.
And I think you're thinking it's an emergency to your cell phone. It's like a text message where your phone
If
buzzes.
you're signed up to get emails from the town, you can go into the website and get signed up. You'll get that.
But you won't get emergencies.
No, but it'll be
Usually ask me
alerts.
about a road closure list.
But they will have road closures on that.
Yeah, definitely road closures. But I mean, if there was something bad or tornado, you can,
No.
although I think Verizon does that too, right? You ever get that?
Yeah.
thing? But only if it's real bad.
Which Civic Plus has an option to do that. Civic Plus, the website that we use as a town, they have an emergency alert card that you can buy.
Okay, I'm not, okay, well,
We did it, Westchester. And it was, most often we used it for road closures. And there were emergencies to divert traffic.
but how do they notify the people? By email?
Text.
But
Text?
they have to give me your phone
You got a
number.
text.
Okay.
It
You
has-
can, when you opt on, you had a choice of text or email or both.
Okay, so we'll look into that
Yeah,
too.
there's a cost to it.
There's no cost for the email one. I mean, it's in just our yearly fee. I mean, Civic Plus is reasonable. I think we paid less than $3,000 a year for that website. It's really reasonable. But I wasn't aware of the texting. We'll check. And this is a brand, we just updated it 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, no,
so,
they have the service, so
okay,
it should be reasonable.
okay, cool. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for everybody coming.
Why are they asking?
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. See everybody June 17th.
Oh, can you get me that?
Come on, we can keep talking.
We can keep talking. More masks.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Zach. Thanks.
I didn't, you didn't, you
Okay.
should have had optional.
You still go to the planning board after this, right?
I'm liking,
No.